Hello, it's Jon Binnie. I'm a spiritual mentor based here in Scotland, and I'm super excited. I've got my coffee and I'm ready to tell you all about a magical story that I have been and continue to experience. And I'd like to introduce you to some concepts in this journey as well. So I'll be explaining all about my dream life, about these future aspects of myself, and how this present moment and the future of me are connecting together and bringing both into each other. It is super magical. So yeah, let me explain. First of all, I would like to give a huge shout out to Aura Universe, and she's a truly magical soul. She took me on a quantum hypnosis journey. And so this is like a past, parallel, present, future life experience. And it was really, really cool. I am going to post that video separately to this, and I'll cover like the key aspects in this video, but you can watch them in either order. It's absolutely fine. Her journey takes me on the journey she takes me on, should I say, really takes me into the future and takes me into this future version of me, and also the past. Like what did I develop as my gifts and abilities in the past? How do they manifest through into the future? And then we talk more about how it happens in the present. Now, from that session, there were still like, I would say, questions that I had, and very kind of human questions, right? Like, what do I do next in this present moment? And so let me also introduce, if I've not spoken of her before, talk about the amazing Jenna Holloway. And as an intuitive business coach, she was really helping myself and her membership group work through some really like simple but super powerful, like life-changing questions. And so the first exercise that we did, and we did it this week, was to place our hands on our hearts and ask ourselves the question. So we had 4 minutes to ask ourselves the question: what does it feel like to be this, to embody this highest aspect of ourselves, and like to be living our future dream life? What are we doing? How does it feel? Who are we with? And so we took 4 minutes, and I'm just going to take 3 deep breaths, and I'd just like you to ask yourself that question as well, about what it feel like to be like, to embody who are you with in your dream life. And just taking a deep breath in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth, nice and loud. Once again, breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out what no longer serves our highest good. Breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And release any low vibration emotions. Continue to breathe deeply and calmly. And for me, I'm connecting back to that moment that I witnessed earlier this week when I answered these same questions. And I'm calling forwards my guides and my higher self to assist in answering any remaining details that I seek or that are important to share with you. And so I'm sat in my living room at home. I'm sat in an armchair, and there's someone to the right of me there, a brother or a sister, as in they're another member of the human race, and they're chatting with me. And there's this really beautiful vibration. The first thing that hits me about my body, me, is that I feel very, very strong. My energy feels strong. My body feels physically fit. I'm older. I'm quite a lot older, about 20 years older. But I feel stronger than I am now. And there's a very calm, loving, empathetic, understanding feeling to me. And I'm really loving the things they are saying. I'm not jumping to the next conclusion, even though I've done this thousands of times. I'm just allowing them to share their unique story. And I know that within every story, there's this beautiful magic that people share. Every journey unique. And I'm allowing them to take me on a journey. They're describing their life, they're describing some of their challenges, and they're building up to some questions that they have for me. And I'm just nourishing and supporting them. And I'm just holding space for them. I'm with them on this journey. And I'm aware that as this person talks to me, there's like a helper, there's a friend, like one of my team, and they're stood at the door, and they're admitting people to come in and see me next. And it's getting later in the day. It's about 5 p.m. And I think they've just admitted the last person for the day. And there's a queue of people outside, quite a long queue. And so they're being told that that's it. Jon is done for today. He's taken his last human for today, and so this will be the last healing that I do today. And there's some discomfort in the queue of people that have waited a long time, and I do feel for them. I'm aware of them and aware of their emotions. But I must have boundaries. I'm not infinite in my ability to just drain myself. I have to look after myself. And so there's a cutoff of time each day. It's about 6 p.m. And so I'll have time after this person for one more. And what is really beautiful is that I know that I can't help everyone in the planet. And it's a real blessing to help people that come to me that feel they resonate with my energy, and that I feel they're hungry enough to explore their shadows and their learning journey, and to take the bold steps they need to, that they're hungry enough to want to work with me, for me to allow them to work with me. And at this time, I feel like my body and my abilities have grown significantly, and I can feel there is just a really beautiful like feeling of oneness. I do not cling to labels or, the kind of tool set of metaphysical psychic gifts that I have. They also themselves seem far more flexible and free-flowing, and they flow to the areas, like I enhance my gifts and abilities wherever they're needed the most. And I'm able to shift that focus. So perhaps from clairvoyance to clairsentience, or from clairsentience to clairaudience, or to be able to shift into my heart chakra and connect with someone else's heart chakra. Wherever I'm needed, I draw those energies, and I draw my focus and my attention. And sometimes I do this even to abilities I did not know I had yet. And so this makes me very comfortable to explore new ways of working every day. It's really beautiful. And for the people that I could not serve that day, they can decide to engage with me in lots of different ways. I have a community, a membership that they can join. There's just a huge amount of free content that I share, and this is also I wouldn't say promoted, I'm trying to think of the right word, like supported and encouraged, like my team encouraged people to engage with this content. It's a great way of getting to work with me. And I also do group sessions and talks, and I reach wider audiences. And I love it all. I really love this one-to-one aspect of the work. It's really enjoyable. And now that I've figured out how to balance it between doing lots of these one-to-one sessions like quantum energy healings and clearings, helping people identify the gaps, the resistance that they have, helping them step through them, taking those leaps of faith, being with them, holding their hands, but allowing them to lead in their leaps of faith. And as they do take these big, bold steps in their lives and embody this highest aspect of themselves, I'm there, I'm their guide, I'm there to help them and support them and encourage them on their journey, but never to tell them what to do and never to force them to do anything. They're always the one leading the way, and I'm there to support. And so I'm being drawn now to just reflect on how different that experience is. And I'm just coming back to this moment, back to Jon in this moment, that it's quite different to what or should I say there are differences to what I wrote down in my 3-year vision of what I'd like to achieve. And that speaks more to being able to help people, thousands and then into the millions of people, helping them either directly or indirectly through my training, my teaching, my meditations, my mentorships, my one-to-one services. And I guess speaking out loud, those are very similar. They're the same. I didn't expect to be taken immediately to a moment where I was one-to-one with someone, but it seemed to, like, I can see why now. It was me showing myself that there's this really magical supporting framework of boundaries and really like beautiful encouragement and flexibility and teachings that surround it that allow it to be the best it can be as an experience. So the time never overruns. The boundaries are always very clear. The people that I work with that come in as, whoever you'd call them, clients or brothers or sisters, like these people that come in to work with me are in a great place, and I'm able to fully open up and to be able to connect with them and experience their magical journeys, and all the darkness and lights and everything in between that they share. So much of what I just said feels very similar to today. It's really not that far off. I feel that closeness, and that physical aspect of me, the strength, I feel that more as well. Like I felt it quite a lot in my upper body and around my heart, like my core area. And it's like I've been training both physically and metaphysically to continue to raise my vibrations, to be clear and to be conscious and to be high vibration and physically fit. And I just feel that increasingly all the time now as well. So I really love how those, like for me, this story that I just told of my future is very close, and so much of it happens right now. Like it's a feeling of right now. And so I felt that was a really beautiful reflection. Okay, so I'm going to, let's imagine that that's in the next, it starts today, and that story continues on for the next couple of decades at least. If you don't know already, I have resigned from my corporate job, and so I'll be leaving this year. And there was a big leap of faith in that. And what I was aware of was that there was this kind of leap of faith where, as I took a leap of faith, as I took a leap off this cliff into the unknown, that it's almost like I was shifting. Can I do it with my hands? Let me try. Let's say, kind of in my in my awareness, both just as a regular human and then psychically as well. Like my future, I could only see like from here to here. But when I then took this leap, it stretched out. It like shifted this ability to see the future, and it shifted my future as well. So that big, it's like that. It's like I couldn't see what was the other side of taking the leap of faith until I leapt. And to me, it was like, it just seemed like foggy. Like I couldn't see what was there. And that's very much the universe's way of showing you things, right? Like the universe doesn't want to influence you or overly influence you to taking a leap of faith. Like it's not a leap of faith if you know what's happening next, just a step forwards. It's just a normal step forwards like you do every day. So that was really powerful and really beautiful. When I took that leap of faith, so many magical things happened. Like my boss was very excited for me at my corporate job. I've been there 26 years in the industry and 7 years in the company. And they were hugely supportive. They're like, Jon, do this, like follow your dream. The world needs you, the whole of you, not just this software, artificial intelligence manager. And that was so exciting. And so she was really, really supportive. And that was quite shocking to me. And I felt like when I was stepping off the cliff, that instead of stepping into fog, I was stepping onto this cloud and stepping onto this, this higher vibration version of me. And the cloud was lifting me. It was lifting me up. So instead of me falling, and the universe isn't trying to trip you up. It's not trying to break you. It's trying to reward you for your bravery. And so when you're brave, you get a reward. You don't know what it's going to be. Like I remember when I was a kid, my mom would say, your reward will be in heaven. And I was like, oh, I can't wait. So I'm also aware, let's talk about the future. So in what feels like, and I don't know if I've dated this, but it's into the hundreds of years in the future. There's this version of me that is connected, deeply connected to Jon right now. And in other words, it's in one respect, you could say that Jon lives for hundreds of years, and then in the other respect, you could say Jon becomes a being, a form that lives on for hundreds of years, and that the physical way that I exist, shifts constantly. Like it shifts from being, this physical, three-dimensional human to going through these upgrades that so many of us are going through right now, and that our bodies become like more crystalline, and we're able to shift into the sixth dimension. So have these almost be like our higher selves, like be this very high vibration being, even higher than a human body can hold. But our bodies and our DNA shifts into this future state. And so I just want to explain some of that, those connections and how that's possible, how the impossible feels possible. And I'm getting my head around a lot of these different concepts. So they're if they're a bit confusing to you, and I'm expressing them in a not super smoothly yet. It's because they're still forming, they're still coming through to me. And I feel like some of these are also like a leap of faith. So in the video that I'll share alongside this, where I do the quantum session with Aura Universe, she takes me to this place. So I'm on a future version of me, and I'm on it's presented to me at that time as a future life, which is as true as it is untrue. Like it just is. And that future version of me is a teacher aboard a galactic Federation ship. So these are ships that have representations of beings from around the entire universe, and that they come together for a single purpose. And this purpose, they're here to assist Earth in the ascension. So every living thing, including the planet, and to be here to help us, which is super exciting. And so I was shown myself in that lifetime as, and I think it's really interesting that I keep, it's almost like the name, and you hear the name I give myself in the session with Aura. But the name to me, it's funny, I don't really like speaking it because I feel like Jon is as much a part of that version of me as that name that I share in the session. And in that session, I was unaware of how interconnected the present version of me is with this future lifetime of me. And so I'm in this future lifetime, I'm a teacher aboard the Galactic Federation ship. The ship is called Athena, which I think is also just a fascinating reflection, like a very peaceful ship called Athena. And the ship is sentient herself, but not like she was built eons ago by a galactic race that is referred to as the Builder race. And they created many things that are seemingly impossible. And Athena is a form of technology, but she has a soul. So she's almost like an organic artificial intelligence, like she was born and created by these beings, but those beings aren't source. They're not God, but they used the power of source to create. And so Athena is just as much being as we are. And aboard that ship, there's all these different thousands of different galactic races, and I'm a teacher, so I teach them how to. It feels like a lot of what I do is teaching people to become capable of living on Earth and working with others on Earth. And so I often work with children and with people in their kind of teenage years, but they're all lots of different races. So I don't mean human races, I mean like lots of different shapes and sizes. And it's almost like I'm preparing the soul itself, their higher selves, to then incarnate into Earth. And it's not a one-way door, and it's not, although I'm a teacher, I am not better or more gifted than my class. There's not a hierarchy there. And I know I've met some of the people that I've taught. In fact, in this lifetime now, I'm teaching those very same souls in some of my training courses. And it may even be that it's everybody, that everyone I teach as Jon is also the soul that I teach in the future. And that'd be so magical. But yeah, I do feel like we're connected. Like people will come across Jon Binnie and say, oh, you just really like what you say, and your voice and your energy just really resonates with me. There's something guiding me. I'm being called to connect with you and to work with you. And in many respects, it wouldn't matter what I was, promoting, whether it was like a free meditation or a super expensive, lifetime coaching or, sessions or whatever. Like people would just feel connected and they'd engage with me at the right level. If you've made it into 24 minutes, which is how long this video is so far, chances are you probably enjoy this and you want to work with me. So thank you for whenever that happens in our lifetimes. I'm excited to serve you. So this future version of me, what a fabulous lifetime, right? Like there's such love. I really enjoy living aboard the Athena because you meet so many galactic races. There's such magic. The Athena ship does travel quite a lot, and I like my loved ones are there. Like I say as well, like I love so many people, including all my my students. And I get to be a part of the Galactic Federation or Galactic Council of Light, and so get to have a voice and say, how I feel my students are doing on Earth, or how Earth is doing itself, or some of the very human challenges that we face, and that everyone's equal in this federation, and everyone gets a chance to speak and to share their unique experiences. And I'm just seeing it's like looking over Earth from like a viewing deck. We're looking out over the planets and seeing, how everyone's progressing, and just really enjoying that. This journey, like there's a lot of darkness to rebalance, to lift, and to liberate people and to liberate souls. And it's a liberation that happens within. This is the awakening journey itself. It's a self-liberation from the control that has been imposed there. And it's, you can argue that it's just as much an external darkness to us that controls us as much as it is an internal darkness within us. And so that is really beautiful. So going back to the moment that I took this leap to resign from my corporate job, as I did, what was fascinating was that I became immediately aware, well, not immediately aware, within a couple of days of that happening, this future lifetime of me, how to describe it, like transcended. So when this isn't unique to this future version of me aboard Galactic Federation ship as a teacher, this process is where I like transitioned from being a crystalline being, like a very high vibration, almost like a liquid plasma being. So a bit like a physical ghost, like could almost live for eternity. I transcended into being so that crystalline body died, and then I became still very present, but as pure energy. And I could still interact with everything around me. And if you chose, for instance, to hug me or to touch me, I could choose to use my energy to like create the sensation of matter. So you could give me a big squeeze, like a big hug, and it would feel just like I was physically there, but really I was just energy. And so this is like another like higher dimension, and it feels like, I mean, just energy alone can go, all the way up to the highest dimension, up into source. But it felt like it was definitely beyond seventh dimension, as much as high as the 12th dimension. So I had already decided and had already communicated that I wanted to just keep working, like I want to keep serving. And so I'll explain this in a second. I made a big point of when I knew this was coming. I knew exactly when it would happen, that when my crystalline body would die in this future lifetime. And I just said, look, I said to everyone, my decision is not to to mourn or to celebrate my transition or my the death of that body. It is to just continue on. So like it would happen like on a Saturday after a Friday at doing my teaching, and then on the Monday I'd go back to work. I would look different, I would feel different, but everything that I did was still the same. And so it was like that window I was showing you earlier. I was showing you with my hands, where if I shifted that slider from like taking that leap forwards of resigning from my corporate job, and it shifted this higher aspect of me upwards as well. So it's like John raised up his vibrations, and so did this future version of me. And I was aware that some friends in the future version of me did choose to to honor the death of my crystalline body, because it was their culture. Like, they felt that every time a version of you dies, that they wanted to commemorate that. And so I of course I respected their wishes and allowed them to do that. And they had a ceremony, and it was also like to honor the energy that was present in that body, in that crystalline body. So that kind of plasma, high vibration, almost like crystal version of me, held very high vibration, and it held a lot of my, memories. And so if the kind of highest version of me, the 12th dimension version of me, kind of died and I returned to source, then this would be the last physical evidence you'd have of me existing. So I get why they wanted to celebrate that and commemorate it. And then, because that transition, it seemed far more like an ascension than a death and rebirth. I felt that in this lifetime, I could start to see more clearly, like, the transition points that, although I don't understand all of them yet, and I don't see all of them clearly, and neither do I really need to or want to. I mean, of course I want to. I'm like super curious, right? You'd love to have all your questions answered. But they are like these leaps of faith, and that I know that there'll be more in the future, and that when they come, and when I take the right decision for me and embody my full self and take those steps forwards, that I'll begin to see more of these transitions. So transition from 3D Jon to crystalline 6th dimension Jon, and then from 6th dimension to higher dimensions, and everything in between. And of course, what will happen to my physical excuse me, what will happen to my physical body. I love the way I cough, like my body's like, remember me, I still exist, look after me. So our bodies are very sentient, right? Like they're like our partners in this journey. I'm very grateful to have such a healthy body. That, yeah, I feel like that's also a transition itself. Like I feel like I will transition, that many of us will transition from being like this third dimensional being, our DNA is upgrading, and we'll basically like metamorphosize into these higher vibration versions of us. So that's super magical and super exciting. Okay. And then I began to see how all these like, how to describe it, like snapshots of different timelines are how they're being shown to me, and how they reflect on my life, on the present moment. And so I would like to just first of all say that all these lifetimes, the past, the present, the future, the parallel, the high vibration, low vibration, everything, it's all happening at the same time, and they are massively interconnected. And so although I talk about them being in the past and the future, they're very much the present. Like they're all together, and it's just an easier way to explain these things, by separating them by the notion of linear time. But really, linear time doesn't exist. All these things happen in the same place, in the same at the same time, at different frequencies. Like they're stacked up on top of each other, and they're all talking to each other. And the reason why, as I took a leap of faith in this lifetime, that the higher version, the future version of me, took a step forwards and transitioned from being crystalline into pure energy, was that it was like this distance is maintained in frequency between us, and it's like as one steps up, the other gets to step up, and so on. So that was really lovely to see. And I'm just trying to bring myself back now mentally to this present version of me, this grounded, Jon Binnie that I am at the moment. And I started to reflect more, and I reflect more this time on me and the actions that I'm taking, the things I'm doing right now. Like, how does this affect me day to day? Like, this is all a lovely story. And I say story because it's like my story. It's like my journey. They're my experiences. There's no right or wrong. But how does it affect me right now? The first thing is, as I build my new business, as I build my spiritual mentoring business, as I call it, I've been so used to this kind of 3D mindset of business development that, you know, you create a vision of the thing you want, and then you create a plan of how you get there. Unfortunately, it's like, no, that's not really true. Like, because that's never what really happens. So creating the vision, absolutely, that's super helpful. And I feel like I've already begun, since my reflection of looking at like what's that high, a high vibration dream life that I'm seeking. What does that look like? Now that I've experienced it again more and more clearly, with more clarity, I've also like been updating my vision, and I'll keep doing that all the time. Just drink more coffee. I need to mention coffee in my vision. Will I still drink coffee? I don't know. But the plan itself, like how I get there, is really magically unexplainable, because I keep being drawn to this program in me that says, John, write a plan, John, write a plan, you know, and yet what my experience is teaching me very, very fast is that the plan is irrelevant. And in fact, the plan is dangerous to build, because it's misleading, right? It's like pretending to know what happens to me over this lifetime, over my future lifetimes, pretending to attempt to know those things and trying to create like a map of getting there is constricting, because it's based on me just now. Like, maybe if my future version of me wrote it in hindsight and wrote out the path and described it as a plan, maybe that would be better. But would that not still be constrictive? Like, I don't want the future version of me writing my plan. I want me to experience all the magic every day. And in my meditation today, my guides were saying, and I feel like it was my higher self saying this, because I asked my guides and my higher self at the same time, talking about like this moment, this heartbeat right now, and feeling that every heartbeat is an opportunity to continue to increase your vibrations, our happiness, to face our shadows, to do our inner work, to find those gaps between the now moment and the future version of us, and to take that step forwards. And I love that, because our hearts beat really fast. And so a lot happens in, you know, just a space of a minute. You know, so if your heart's going at like 80 beats per minute, that's 80 steps forward every minute that you're taking. No wonder this is an exhausting lifetime. And so when you're taking so many steps forwards, you realize that every heartbeat has significance. It's a little tiny baby step, a little step forwards in this journey, and that everything you're doing, like we're always manifesting, we're always creating this reality around us. You know, if I had a plan, would I believe in the plan? If I had a monthly income plan, would I believe that is going to happen? Or will my experience be much more like a roller coaster, like up and down, and that, you know, there's more ups than downs? It feels like that's more true than a set linear plan. And I was also called into like, if I talk about the actual tangible physical examples that I've been going through in the last couple of weeks, to explain this. So the first thing was, I have a library of spirit guide meditations. So these are the same meditations that I created for myself since 2017. And like the first 5 or so out of 18 of them now are very focused on just stepping into like all the different highest aspects of you and being able to like go through that daily practice. And in particular for me, like talking to my spirit guides every day, it's so important for me because I'm seeking that higher guidance every day. And I wave my hand around like in a circular motion. I'm trying to say like it's a flywheel. Like the more you invest, the more you receive, the more you invest, the more you receive. I'm talking about energy, not money. And so I freely give those meditations, those 10-minute meditations. And so if I look at what I originally did, I originally created them as just YouTube videos. And as YouTube videos, I mean, algorithms are fun, right? But they're not good at finding vibrational matches. They can be influenced by our own vibrations and our own perceptions. You know, if you can ask, you see this on Threads a lot if you use it. You see people saying, you know, dear algorithm, match me with this person, you know, these people that have all these similar interests, which I think is a really beautiful way of like manifesting those connections. But that step in the journey was that some people that tried them like said that individually they were quite good, but they didn't really I don't think they really connected with them. Like people, there wasn't a huge amount of interest. So I think after the first 3 or 4 of these that I released, I decided to put them on my website. And this was what I was guided to do. So I felt like my guides were saying, Jon, like wrap up like these meditations, it's like the first 10 or so, like a gift, so that, you know, someone could go on my website and then they could watch the guided meditation, like take part in it. And then they would give a little survey at the end, like 30-second survey, and feed it back. And that message comes like real time, it comes to me. And then they would do each of the meditations and then give me feedback as they went. And that was a huge change because I feel like when you give things for free, people really find it hard to see the value. Like it's almost like you're telling them that it's not worth anything to them. So this part of their kind of 3D program conscious is saying, well, free things are rubbish, so you're giving me rubbish, or maybe you're giving me rubbish that's slightly better than rubbish. And I felt like that's something that, you know, is also a vibrational match. Like if people believe that the future of this planet is going to be a world where we only charge each other for everything, for every single thing, then that's a shame, because I feel like we have the opportunity to break these molds and learn new ways of working together. And I freely give these meditations so that people can connect with me. Like they can, like it all happens in like in the same time, right? In the quantum universe. So when someone's watching a meditation of mine, they're there in that session when I was recording it, just as I am there with them, experiencing it. And when they feed that back with the survey, they reconnect back to me afterwards in this present moment, in this kind of future version of Jon, and say yes, or maybe, or no, and you know, whether they liked it or not. So I'm telling myself this. I'd never really thought of it like that. It's so magical. And then what Jenna Holloway really helped me with was like and some of her community, like asking people, like my customers, my clients, asking them for their feedback, what they really like about me and my work that I offer. More coffee. No, they don't say that they like more coffee, although maybe they enjoy coffee too. One of the ideas from Sarah, shout out to Sarah, was she said, "Oh, it would be great to have like some structure, like goals. Like you could set a goal at the beginning, you could look at the goals at the end, and then maybe like some sort of structure where you could you get prompted to do something each day." And I was like, "Oh yeah, like you know, like a 7-day, you know, or 14-day, like challenge or like a structure that you could follow. So I was really excited by that, and it felt really right because I'm such a creature of habit, and I love having, a program to join and something to like prompt me to do something each day. And it's like a gift, right? You feel like when that content is wrapped up together, it's like wrapping it in this intention. And I also started to reflect on my journey, which was, well, when I first started in 2017, November 2017, within 14 days, I began talking to my spirit guides, being able to ask them questions and listen to their answers. And I was age 40 at that time. And I was like, or almost 41. And I just remember not being really sure that's what was happening. And it did take me about 900 days later to really fully acknowledge that this is a gift and ability that I now have, that it's part of me and it never goes away. And that, I can continue to ask forever, for eternity, to ask my guides for messages, turn them into songs and release them each day. So what Sarah had helped me do is like see that there's some structure. And so first of all, I created the 7-day challenge for the mindfulness meditations. And Sarah just like immediately picked up that and completed it. And also others have gone on to complete those. And there's something quite magical about the mindfulness meditations because there's such a low barrier of entry. Like there's no big concepts that you need to understand. You can just sit and listen. You just be there, present and relax. And it feels like an oasis in that moment. And then there was Sarah then went on and started the next spirit guide meditations, and I'd spoken to Sarah like face to face, and she's like, oh, there's like lots of these concepts that I don't really understand. Like what is Mother Gaia? Or who is Mother Gaia? And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Like going from that barrier of entry into it's not a barrier, like that kind of friction of going into the 14-day spirit guide meditations, is that you need to either just surrender and kind of learn as you go, or and feel into the different possible definitions of these things that I talk about. Or I said, oh, actually, why didn't I just create a video that describes these concepts, because it allows me to share my intention and my definition in clarity, so that you can feel into that, decide whether it resonates with you or not. And that was really cool. So I created that, and Sarah's gone on and started that program. And so thank you for those gifts, Sarah, of like setting the goals and the structure, and then the concepts as well. So it's been a pleasure creating those. And what I'm saying all this because what really shocked me was that really simple things of like, first of all, like valuing the content that I was creating and seeing that even though the traditional way of sharing it wasn't like super resonating with people, there was still great potential, because the same meditation practice, it has changed my life. It continues to change and revolutionize my life. So maybe it can help other people. And at very least, at very minimum, they're going to get to listen to my voice for a while and either be repulsed by my energy and my voice, or resonate with it and feel like, oh, actually, here's a person, here's a human, a soul, an energy that I'd love to, listen more to or work with in the future. And so there's this like beautiful, like vibrational match aspect that I feel like my guided meditations assist in that journey with. And also like my dream customers, my dream clients, my perfect clients, whatever term you choose, these people will be hungry to consume like what I invest, significant amounts of time and energy into. that is a full embodiment of me. Like it's every aspect of me. It's not me holding back. It's not me dimming my light. It's like every aspect of me. And a lot of what I was creating, like not really thinking through it at the time, but in hindsight, when I created like the 14-day challenge and sequenced these meditations in a specific way, and then I've added in supporting materials as like these optional tasks every second day or so to help you, like, you know, listen to some of the podcasts or some of my music, or like that are relevant to those tasks to help you see that the whole aspects of me and how these things are interconnected. Without kind of like, I don't know, just trying to sell people stuff. Like, again, it's like connecting people with more free aspects of my work. And of course, at the end, you can go on and buy services. But yeah, I felt that was just a really powerful structure. And the structure is very much about how I work day to day. Like I'm a creature of habit, like get up every day, go for my run, come back, meditate. That's Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday, it's a hot bath before I meditate instead. And, you know, they're rest days. And Sunday has no music. So it's like, it's just really powerful to see how the reflection of my journey can be like kind of transformed so that I can share it with others, share what I've learned and benefited from so greatly to others, and to help really just ignite within them their, like, all of their abilities, all their gifts. Like, I'm not trying to teach people exactly how I do things. I'm trying to help people discover these things and to interpret them in their own unique and beautiful way. So I think I counted last night something like across the meditations signups now, it must be like within the region of 45 people across mindfulness, the spirit guide, kind of unstructured meditations, and then the structured like 14-day challenge. Like those, yeah, there's loads of people signed up, and some people I've known for quite some time, for maybe years. And others just totally brand new, never heard of them. They just signed up. And this is something Jenna talks about, which is, if you think about those people that I've known for many years, I've, you know, just happened to interact with in that time, there's always someone watching you. You know, if your content resonates with someone, even the algorithms like will help, like, you know, keep reminding them like, hey, you know, you liked that person or you liked that content that you saw, and they'll keep, like, you know, bringing them up. And people will also search you, like they'll search you up, right? They'll go, oh, I wonder if that guy's still going, like if he's still doing that music or still doing those meditations or that quantum energy healing, whatever he does. And they'll search for you. And if you're producing like regular content, they're used to seeing it. And same with my emails. Like I do a newsletter every week, and you can see the newsletter content or sign up on the news part of my website on jonbinnie.com. These are great ways to kind of rediscover me constantly and to rediscover all the aspects of my content. And I do create a lot of content every day. It's so much fun. So yeah, that's really powerful. Is I was starting to see that some of these really simple things, like connecting with mentors, connecting with communities, connecting with every aspect of me, like that part of me that's logical and structured and that loves that kind of tenacious showing up every day, and doing the thing that helps me fulfill my dreams, is what is also reflected when I'm asking you for feedback and asking you for ideas about what I offer. And that manifests into my work and my experience today. And so how does all this get me to being that future dream life version of me? It's definitely a journey. I know, this was something I really wanted to share. If you've made it this far, well done. 54 minutes in. So it's almost February. something big happens for me in February, and I'd had like previous readings from people, and when they didn't say it themselves, but I would say it during the readings, I would say, I don't know what it is, and I'm not meant to know what it is yet. Like a kind of spontaneous like event, like a surprise, like a great reward happens for me in February. And it's really curious, right? Like knowing that a surprise is coming in part like makes it a little bit less of a surprise, but it also makes it more of a surprise because you feel like there's this anticipation, like the anticipation's been building for about 3 or 4 months. And February just caught up on me. Like it's just a few days away. And it's a whole month. You know, there's a lot to happen in that month. And I know it's going to have, regardless of whether it's some big life-changing surprise, like my trajectory, like the way things are going, things are just transforming. You know, including I have an interview for doing a reflexology placement at a hospice towards the end of February. Like there's just so many magical things. But a lot of the messages that were consistent for me was that there would be the reward for all the hard work I've been doing. And I also feel like that now, like I don't, whether it's like one specific event that happens, or if it's like a more gradual manifestation, I feel like I'm reaping that reward now, because all those days and years that I felt alone, or I was practicing alone, and I was, you know, facing my shadows and having to work through, you know, meditations when there were people in my old, you know, outside my old house having parties and fights and starting fires, at, you know, for weeks on end. Like whatever the challenge was that I was facing, whatever fears I was facing, I always felt like there was just something like pulling me forwards, and I knew it was me. I knew it was like this future version of me, like calling me, like, come on, Jon, like keep going. This is something you look back on and you reflect on. And it's such those times, and they're just some of them, right? Just as the meditation I did this morning, like every moment that we invest in ourselves, invest in our dreams, is just a fabulous celebration of our progress, and be prepared to, you know, for the unexpected, to be prepared for, you know, leaving my career and starting a new one, starting a new business. Be prepared for connecting with mentors. And I always had like, I don't really like being told what to do. I love, like, I've always focused on self learning, you know, being like learning on the job. And so when people tell me stuff, I find it quite hard to, you know, to absorb it, to kind of make it my own teaching. And sometimes I just rebel against it. Like I'm just like, well, that's just your opinion, you know, whatever people are saying. And I feel like there's no competition, you know, there's more than enough in this world for everyone, including energy and money and, you know, business and opportunity and ability to change the world. And that connecting with people is a really powerful way of doing it. And mentors, whether you're just consuming their free content from someone that you really admire, through to actually paying them and, you know, connecting with them and connecting with their membership group, it's totally up to you. But there are things that really help me. And then in the last few minutes, just talking, I just want to be really clear about the shadows as well. Like there's a lot of shadows in what I've been telling you, right? Like, you know, I'll smile through it and I'll, you know, always put a positive light in it. But some of these moments are just the deepest, darkest, like soul destroying, literally, or, you know, capable of destroying your soul events. Like my deepest, darkest shadow work I did last summer, you know, where I was just pushing myself into this void, like of lack, like constantly creating and wearing myself out. Like that's still in my consciousness. It's why my Sundays don't have music. It's why I constantly seek to create capacity in my life and additional rest. So that was one big lesson for me. And I feel like the next like gaps, the frictions that I'm working through some are a continuation of the themes I've discussed today. So they include things like and you can ask yourself this question, right? And it's something that Jenna Holloway does is, put your hand on your heart, take 3 deep breaths, for 4 minutes, ask yourself the question, like, what are the things that are holding you back from this moment now to becoming that highest version, that dream life version of you? The biggest thing was like, initially was like resigning from my corporate job. The next thing is like leaving. Like I know the moment I leave that building, that job, that, something like, around 30 to, more, like 30, 40, maybe as much as 50 hours, productive hours in my week will be freed up. And I don't just mean directly the working hours. I mean, the working hours are maybe about 30 hours and I'm contracted for 24. So I'm just working 3 days a week. But I go through this cycle, this roller coaster, right? Which is Friday is like, yay, it's like first day off at 4. And that's an absolute gift. It's incredible. But during that time, I know that I'm coming back. I'm being drawn back into this like paradigm of having to work hard, of, that in these old constructs of like working hard achieves results and blah, blah. And like, and just work your ass off and you'll like succeed. And, that's not true. Like you can work your ass off into like a black hole, literally. So I know that the moment I leave that job, it'll also be like a massive opportunity for me. And it's a leap of, it's part of the leap, the faith I've already started leaping into the air. But it's like the actual journey. And I love, like Jenna Holloway says, if you create capacity in your life, you create those slots, those empty slots where clients can book you in, they'll come. If you're embodying yourself, you're raising your vibrations, you're constantly seeking, you're asking for feedback from your clients and customers and asking them what they want, and you're doing the things that feel fun and flow with you, and it feels easy. Like last night I was creating higher self foundational training course material for a couple of hours in the evening, like literally just like 2 hours, and it was quite late at night. And I just stopped and I just looked at my wife next to me and I just said, I'm really enjoying this. Like this to me is not work. Like I'm excited about telling the people these things. I love the challenge of putting it into a structured format that still gives them the freedom to explore it themselves. And it felt really empowering to be sitting there saying, this is my choice right now. I'd had loads of rest yesterday. We'd been exploring a local seaside town in our camper van for hours and hours. And it just felt like, it felt good. Equally, when I leave my corporate job, I'll have like more opportunity to have more structure and boundaries, and not just fit everything in around like this big time and energy investment. Where's my train of thought going? So yeah, they're like the tangible things I'm doing. Oh, talking about the shadows, other shadows. So I'm continuing to work on my like sense of lack, like whenever those moments come into my mind of like, but what about the money, John? Who's going to pay the bills, John? What are you going to do? Like you used to earn a lot of money, John. Like where are you going to earn a lot of money now from? Like feeling when that's happening now, I go back to this highest version, this future version of me, and it's in this lifetime. And even if it's like I feel like that journey of me that I described at the beginning of, sat in my living room, seeing like a customer, chatting away with them, that is not far off. Like that could be weeks or it could be 20 years, but it is close. Energetically, it's super, super close. And so my shadow is like just allowing myself to become that person and thinking whenever I'm feeling like a bit low vibration, in a mood, like, being dragged down by something or another bill comes in. I've had loads of bills recently. That it's okay, because I just keep going back to the fact that future version of me I've met, I've experienced what it's like to be them. And I know that money, that was something I totally forgot to share. And there's probably significance in the fact that I didn't share it, right? I totally forgot to share that financially in my future version of me, I was in a position of I felt I was earning too much, that it was people's generosity for what they gave me for my services was so abundant, was so overwhelming, that I was always seeking ways to pass on that money, to give it to charity, to give it to other people, and to find energetically aligned ways of doing it. And that was so powerful. It's like, wow, I have more money than I could ever dream of. And I don't want to just hoard it all to myself. So that was so exciting to experience. So whenever in the now moment, when I'm worried about the next bill, the next pay packet, or, how do I pay off my mortgage, or, how do I do all these big things, to feel into that frequency and embody that version of me. Like, what would the version of me, so I kept feeling this, my guides kept telling me, it's like, Jon, behave now like you have an abundance of money. Like, don't have energy leaks and just throw it away to different places. Like, know where all your money is going. Be intentional of where you spend your money, but don't hold back. Because when you behave like you have no money, like, the universe behaves like that too. It's like, well, Jon doesn't have much money, so, I'm not going to give him much money. Like, you're just constantly like in that lack mindset. And so you create this lack reality around you. And it's also one thing I love a practice of, and I'd encourage you to do this, whether it's with me or anyone, is when you feel in lack, when you feel like you don't have enough money, go and invest something in yourself. So what I do is, once a month, I'll choose someone that I resonate with, and I'll book a session with them, a reading, or if they want to do like some sort of exchange. But I try and pay them, because I want to spend the money so that it's me demonstrating to the universe that I feel abundant, even when my income, or my bank balance is lower. I feel abundant because I know that it's coming back up. And, and if you think about it, our bank balances like go up and down constantly, like every minute, like constantly, or they might go up with a monthly salary and down, up and down and down and down. But depending on the frequency that you look at that, or how much you zoom out over your lifetime, like, these things just go up and down all the time, and everything's temporary. So that's a really helpful way, I feel, of facing some of those shadows. Other shadows, just being really balanced. Like, it's very easy for me to get so excited about the work, and to get excited about the fact that these are the things I want to do with this newfound confidence and high vibration, and knowing that it's so important to invest in my vibration and my future, that actually I can end up in the situation where, burning myself out, or just pushing those boundaries beyond what's comfortable, or holding myself back by working too hard. So yeah, there's some of the shadows I'm working through. So I'm sure some of these you'll at least be aware of, or resonate with some of these shadows and these gaps. But what's helped me the most is also like finding content from people that resonate with me, so that I can reflect on those things, and just keep working on your vibes, right? Like the food you eat, what you consume online, your social media, the people you follow, what you watch on TV. Just, keep following that journey of clearing and cleansing yourself, and stepping into the highest version of you, dancing and singing and enjoying yourself. I had such a great dance this morning before this video. I was watching this amazing singer live on TikTok, and I was dancing right with my headphones, and it's like, this is so enjoyable. Like, I felt like really, really empowered. So this is already a really long video. It's as much a journal for me as it is to share with you, and a real honor too. So thank you for watching this, and I am sending my love from Scotland. Oh, and before I go, if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions about how you would like to work with me, if you have any questions about my future version of me, or anything I've said, like, please do engage. I don't, surprisingly, right now, don't get that many questions, and often have to go hunting for them. And so I love like answering them. And I feel like, because they come from you, if you made it all the way through to the end of this video, Like, just well done, a big clap for you. Oh, and I must give a special shout out. So, Shona, if you've made it all the way to the end, I wanted to say a massive thank you. We met again just last week at a very sad occasion at a dear family member's funeral. But she was such a star in that darkness, because she came to me and said, I really love your podcasts. I really love your podcast, John. I've known her for so many years, and she's such a beautiful soul that it just filled my heart so much. And I wanted to give you a shout out. I want to say thank you, and to know that, if you ever feel like that around someone that you know is like putting their heart and soul into something, and it resonates in any way, what Shona's gift to me on that day was so powerful and really filled my heart with such joy. And it just kept resonating in my heart. It helped me think, well, even though I'm going through these really hard moments, and I can see all the family members around us like really suffering, and it's a hard journey that takes many years to continue to work through, it gave me like hope gives you, a little star in this dark night sky. You see this little beautiful light. It's like that hope that, I resonate with someone, that the things I do can help other people in certain ways. It's like, oh, I really love your voice, and it's always very calming, and that really excites me alone. So thank you, Shona. It's an honor to give you a shout out, and I'm so excited, and I'm just fascinated as well, like what people that have known me from when I was, for most of my life, the kind of, what I'm sure to some people sounds like these crazy metaphysical journeys that I talk of, past, present, and future, and how my journey continues to unfold. And it's a very grounding experience when someone in my life like steps out to me and just shares that reflection. So thank you, Shona. And if you or if anyone has any requests for future content, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be asking my guides and my higher self, and we'll be creating as we go. So thank you so much. Sending my love from Scotland. I love you.